students and my dear friends, once again welcome back to my channel. Well, in this video we will be talking about the lungs volumes and the capacities. Basically, I have planned out something and we will be talking about 4 different types of lungs volumes and 5 different types of lungs capacities. Now for that process to happen, you need a special instrument, and the name of the instrument is spirometer. And the process that is executed with the help of spirometer is known as a spirometry. Now in the spirometry procedure, that individual is subjected to sit straight at ease, and then his or her nose will be blocked with a clip, of course, and then you will be put a nozzle inside your mouth, and through that nozzle, the nozzle is actually connected to a pencil with the help of a pulley, and the pencil will be subjected to be on the top of a paper. So whenever you will do the inhalation and the exhalation, the pencil will start making the graph, and with the help of which you can actually come up with a sort of graphical representation that we are going to see in the form of different volumes. So let's begin with that. Before we talk about them individually, first let's understand what we are going to do here in the graph. As you know, I have made a normal graph, so x-axis and y-axis. Along the x-axis, now the question is why I have made 2. One is for inhalation, another is for exhalation. Now what we will do in the x-axis, along the x-axis, we can take the time frame, we can read the time frame for the inhalation and the exhalation. And as far as the depth of inhalation and exhalation is concerned, that can be measured here through the y-axis. That means if you go more deep down and if you go more up, in this way you can actually measure the depth of exhalation and inhalation respectively. So let's begin with first all the volumes. Let's talk about the tidal volume. Now guys, understand one thing. Right now you are watching this video sitting in a place. Means you are not doing any strenuous exercise, I hope. So at this present moment, you are following your own breathing rate. So now in this breathing rate, when you are sitting at ease, there will be the inhalation and exhalation. And either of this inhalation and exhalation, when you are sitting at ease, is what we call as tidal volume. Suppose if you start from here, so if you inhale, so it will go up this, and if you exhale, it will come down like this. So again, if you go up this and again it will come down like this, this is how we calculate the tidal volume. So it is the volume of air which can be inhaled or exhaled. Listen very carefully, I say which can be inhaled or exhaled. Means either you calculate inhalation or you calculate exhalation, not together. E is what you call as tidal volume. And the amount of the volume is at around, say, 500 ml. So I'll write it here. This is the whole capacity here. This is what you call as tidal volume. And I'll write it here. Tidal volume is around 500 ml. Right? I should not write here. I'll write somewhere else. Wait. I'll write it here. I hope this much visible. Yeah. TV is equal to 500 ml. Right? Now suppose right now you are here. So this means you have completed 1 turn of normal inhalation, then you have completed 1 turn of normal exhalation. Going up means inhalation, coming down means exhalation. Right? That means, for your sake of understanding, I'll write it here. Inhalation, exhalation. Now once you're done here, 1 round of inhalation and exhalation, again you are inhaling. Now I have told you, you inhale to a maximum content. That means you will cover up the tidal volume and then you will go up. Try to understand this. Normal inhalation, normal exhalation, normal inhalation, and then you have inhaled more to the maximal content and you have reached here. So can you see one thing, guys? This is something you have got here. This extra amount of air which you have inhaled right after the normal inhalation, right? And this is what you call as inspiratory reserve volume. So in short, I'll write it here, IRV, right? So right after normal inhalation to the maximal content, whatever inhalation you can do is what you call as a IRV or inspiratory reserve volume. So write it here, IRV is at around say 2500 to 3000 ml, right? So now you have got the understanding for IRV. Guys, similar way, same thing will be there for the ERV, that is the expiratory reserve volume. The only difference is, in case of IRV we talked about regarding inhalation in mind, and regarding expiratory reserve volume we will talk about keeping exhalation in mind. So what is the moral of the story? Once again from the beginning, normal inhalation, normal exhalation, right? Now if you exhale more down in a best way possible, so this is the maximum exhalation you can do, an individual can do. So whatever volume you get here is what you call now expiratory reserve volume, right? So write it here, ERV. It is at around somewhat around 1000 ml, 1000 to 1100 ml. The values will be given in your textbook. So whatever textbooks you are following, so just follow all the values. Here we are understanding how the graph is made, and once that is understood by you, you can do any sort of calculations. So we have completed the ERV as well. Now the fourth one, residual volume. Guys, let me ask you a question. Suppose you are here, that means you have done the exhalation in a best way possible. Maximum exhalation you have done. But what do you think? Like all the air from the respiratory tract have come out. Is the lungs now completely empty? No, it's not. So right after the ERV also, there will be certain amount of air which will be always left in the lungs, and that volume is what we call as residual volume. Excuse me. And remember one thing, the residual volume will never go out. Means, moral of the story, the lungs will never become empty totally. There will be always certain amount of air will be present. So if I make it here now, I'll use the different colors. If I make it here now, say, so this much is what will I call as residual volume. And like I've told, again I'm repeating, this is an amount of air which will never be coming out. Moral of the story, lungs will never become empty. Remember that. So I'll write it here. RV is somewhere around say 11 to 1200 ml. Again, I would suggest you to follow your own textbooks for the values to be more accurate on this. So guys, here we have finished with all the volumes, right? Now let's understand these capacities. Now first, let's begin with the inspiratory capacities. Now, understand one thing. Again, we'll start from the beginning. So, normal inhalation, Normal exhalation. Now you stop, you take a pause here. Now I say you inhale to the maximum. That means what? You will be inhaling, covering the tidal volume, and what? You will be covering the IRV also. Right? So can I say whatever values you will get here, this to this, the whole volume, which includes IRV and your TV, all together is what you call as inspiratory capacity. I hope that makes sense. So I'll write it here. IC, inspiratory capacities, is equal to, see the graph carefully, you have come here after the normal exhalation, and I have told you, you inhale to the maximum. So first you will go up. So first you will cover which one? You will cover up the tidal volume. So I'll write it is your tidal volume plus, then once you cross the tidal volume, you will go up and you will be covering the IRV. So I'll write it here, IRV. And you know the respective values, right? So this way you can also calculate the IC. I hope that makes sense. Now same like IC, let's talk about the expiratory capacity. Now understand, in this case, once you have completed the normal inhalation, now I have told you to do the exhalation maximum. That means first you will be covering, so let me use another color. So suppose now you are here. Now you will be covering the tidal volume, and after that you will be coming down further. That means you will be also covering the ERV. So right from here till here, whatever value you get is what you actually call as expiratory capacity. I hope that makes sense. It's just the opposite of inspiratory capacity. So for EC, expiratory capacity, guys, can I write TV plus, now this is your ERV. So can I write ERV? Yes? Fine. Now you have reached here, right? Because we have just now completed the expiratory capacity. So now suppose you have reached here. Now I have told you, from this point you inhale maximum. That means what will you do? From here you will go further up, right? So if you do like this, can you tell me what are the capacities you are covering? And that is what you call as a vital capacity. Means from here till this, whatever length, if you go by length now, so if you go by length now, is what you call as a vital capacity. So write it here, vital capacity is equal to, let's begin from the bottommost part. So from here you are coming up, that means you are covering the ERV. So write it here, ERV plus, once you cross the ERV, you are in the zone of tidal volume. So write it here, tidal volume plus, once you even cross that tidal volume, now you are in the zone of IRV. So I'll write it here, IRV. Right? I hope this part is clear to you. Well, I'm not writing all the values because I have told you the values here. So from this particular part, you can easily calculate the values of these capacities. I hope that makes sense for vital capacity. Now let's talk about the functional residual capacity, which is alternatively known as FRC. So what I say, again you start from the tidal volume, normal inhalation, normal exhalation, normal inhalation, normal exhalation. So let me ask you a question. After the normal exhalation, means suppose you are here. After the normal exhalation, what air will be left? So your answer will be, sir, I will be left with ERV and RV. Right? So that is what you call as functional residual capacity. See, this is the residual volume, so residual capacity. This part is functional because you can exhale this out, but not this part. So all together is what you call as functional residual capacity. That means right after this total volume here, is what you call as FRC. So how will I calculate FRC? For calculation of the FRC, I'll write FRC is equal to, this one is your ERV. So I'll write it here, ERV plus. And what else you're left with? You're left with RV, as always. So I'll write it here, RV. And all together is what you call as functional residual volume. Now the last thing is a total lung capacity. Guys, from the name itself, you can actually figure out what you are trying to mean. Total lung capacity means a lung maximum, how much air it can accommodate. So for that to calculate, obviously I have to take, or I have to consider the whole thing from here till here. Everything comes under total lung capacity. So if you go from top, if you go from bottom, it's up to you. It's like you maybe observe that I have started somewhere, I start from bottom, somewhere I have started from up. It's for the sake of our own understanding and it's for the sake of our own ease. So again, it's up to you how you can calculate. So as far as TLC is concerned now, total lung capacity is concerned now, if you go from the top, the first you will be covering what is your IRV, right? So I'll write it here, IRV plus. The moment you come down from IRV, means now you are in the zone of TV. So I'll write it here, TV plus. Now you are going down further. That means you are entering in the zone of ERV. So I'll write it here, ERV plus. Last but not the least, as you move down, further down, you have crossed the ERV. Now you are in the zone of RV. So I'll write it. Right? So that's about it, guys. That's about the lung volumes and capacities. So guys, that's it. I hope you have enjoyed this video. You have understood the whole concept. Meanwhile, any doubts, anybody, feel free to write in the comment section so that I can come up with the answer. And like I've told you, this part is actually very, it contains a good weightage and it's very potential. The potentiality of this part is quite good. Means you should expect a question at least 1 or 2 from this almost every year. So fine, we are done for the day. So those who are watching this video for the first time, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And those who have already subscribed, don't forget to hit the like button. And of course, those who are subscribing for the first time, hitting the like button is also for you as well. Till we meet next time, bye bye and take care.